What's going on? This is King Cam with Ujumbe's podcast. Ujumbe means messages, and today's message is the forgotten queen of Ethiopia, Empress Zewditu. Now, some of you guys may be very familiar and knowledgeable about the history of Ethiopia and the dynasties and different kings and queens that reigned there. This is new to me. But before we get into that, once again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And let's lay the foundation, right? In the ancient world, the country of Ethiopia has been one of its mainstays. Since day one, Ethiopia has always been the power, right? The Bible calls it the land of Cush. Ethiopia is the oldest independent country in Africa. No country have had that long-lasting rulership. Is also the second oldest Christian nation in the world after Armenia. The country of Ethiopia is one of the longest lasting systems of kingdoms and monarchies in the known world. Predecessor, Emperor Haile Selassie of Empress Zewditu was born April 29, 1876. She was the early symbol of women's independence, whose end is shrouded in mystery. We're going to summarize a little bit of the ascending of major kingdoms of Ethiopia, its monarchs, religion of the country, as well as summarize the life of our empress. Ethiopia is the world's 27th largest country, a little larger than the state of Texas. It is situated in the Horn of Africa, south of Egypt and west of Somalia. But let me pause right there to let you guys know that Ethiopia was not always this size. The Nile River, however long the Nile River flowed, that's where Ethiopia was. And so it wasn't until the Berlin Conference when they shattered our African nations and people and made them into these smaller states, mainly to maintain control. Now, the neighboring countries of Kenya, Eritrea, Somalia, and Sudan surround Ethiopia. Now, according to CIA.gov, the geographical coordinates is 800 north by 1,800 east. Ethiopia has many contrasts with its estimated 471,000 square miles, which all consist of mountains, rivers, and desert, all in one place. So this consists of land, water, even though Ethiopia is at the bottom of the Blue Nile and it's 7,444 kilometers of water, it's still a landlocked country, which means it has no coastline by a major body of an ocean. Now, the religions, the modern religions of Ethiopia are Christianity, Islam. There are other traditional East African beliefs indigenous to the people. Of course, historically, a lot of Ethiopians, long before Christianity, they followed the deity Ra. So this deity was not just isolated to Egypt. It was an Ethiopian concept. Matter of fact, it was a Batwa. It was a Congolese concept. But we'll talk about that another day. And Christianity is the most popular religion. That of 61%, which denomination is the Coptic Church. However, its climb into prominence was not an easy one. In the early 4th century, during the reign of the Roman Empire, Christianity had become the established religion of the Eastern world. Since trade was the medium, was the main way they was able to communicate and make things happen. This trade was the medium. It dominated the Red Sea, and it spread to other areas by way of the Axum Kingdom. It was automatic. So according to Kevin Shillington in his book, History of Africa, the aggressive external expansion of Christianity came through the Zagwe dynasty during 1150 AD. Zagwe kings commanded a large army and Christian settlement and control. They pushed further south to Lake Tana, and new conquests were supported by the presence of missionaries. This gave way This gave way to constant communication between the Church of Ethiopia and the Holy Land of Jerusalem. And after being in fellowship with the Egyptian Coptic Church, the Ethiopians would soon evolve and make their own religious system with its own individual characteristics. Now, the Ethiopian people saw themselves as the outpost of Christianity, chosen people, direct descendants of ancient Israel. The ritualistic belief stems from the Old Testament. According to Shillington, around 1270 AD, a new line of kings emerged called the Solomonic Dynasty. They justified their ascendance of power by claiming that they were the direct descendants of King Solomon and Queen of Sheba, through their son. They both they had a son named Menelik first. Now, of course, Dr. Ben would debate this concept as far as how would the Queen of Sheba, who her name was Makeda, Queen of Sheba, would go from a powerful nation, from a nation that didn't want anything and didn't need anything, to go and visit Solomon. Okay, that's debatable. But as the story goes, they had a son named Menelik the First. It's also believed that Menelik received the Ark of the Covenant. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church in Exum believes that according to the book of Hebrew Nagast, or the book of the Glory of Kings, the Ark is located in the chapel, and the tablet is at the church called Our Lady of Mount of Zion. Now, three major kingdoms developed or evolved out of Ethiopia. Okay, they were the Axum, the Zagwe, and the Solomonic Dynasty. These three major dynasties. The Axum dynasty, according to scholars, was an important trading nation in the northeastern part of Africa. And in its prime, the kingdom of Axum controlled northern Ethiopia, Eritrea, northern Sudan, southern Egypt, Yemen, Somalia, and even Saudi Arabia. By the 3rd century, Axum began to mint its own currency. We had our own money. So between the years 325 AD to 328, the nation was converted to Christianity under the rulership of King Zagwe. After the 6th century, the kingdom began to decline, and it finally was succumbed by invasions of the Jewish queen Khadijah in the 9th or 10th century, resulting in the rise of the Zagwe dynasty. Now, the Zagwe dynasty dominated Ethiopia from the end of the Axum Empire to 1270, when Kunu Amalek was killed during the battle. It is believed that the word Zagwe comes from the Agal people, meaning of Agal. Z means of Ge'ez. So once again, the word Zagwe comes from the Agal people, meaning of Agal. Z means of. Okay, so the dynasty came from the Christian princely family of the Agal people. The founder was Mara Takla Hayamanat, the son-in-law of the last king of the Axum, Dil Na'ad. Additionally, the number of kings belonging to this dynasty is unknown. It's possible that the number of kings is about 16 and the total years of their reign spans from 133 to 333 years. Still debatable, right? The king that was the most known was Gabriel Meskil Lalibela. Yeah, Gabriel Lalibela, who was responsible for the rock-hewn churches of Lalibela. Despite of such accomplishment, the last king of the Zagwe dynasty is unknown. Most scholars believe that the king was Yetbarak. Now, so we have the Axum dynasty, we have the Zagwe dynasty, now we have the famous Solomon dynasty. It is the most known in the traditional house of the royalty in Ethiopia. The motto of the dynasty was the scripture from the book of Psalms, Ethiopia, Tabish, and Hebi is exhibit, which meant Ethiopia stretched her hands unto the Lord, claiming to the descendants of King Solomon and Queen of Sheba, who is said to have given birth to Menelik